chapter 5, verse 1. When you get it, say, still saved. All right, I need some more still savers. Gospel of John, chapter 5, verse 1. Still saved? All right, I'll read and you follow. Sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish festivals. Now there's in Jerusalem near the sheep gate a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie: the blind, the lame, the paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" "Sir," the invalid replied, "I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me." Then Jesus said to him, "Get up, pick up your mat, and walk." And once the man was cured, he picked up his mat and walked. The day on which this took place was a Sabbath. And so the Jewish leaders said to the man who had been healed, "It is the Sabbath. The law forbids you to carry your mat." Amen. Lord, a blessing to the reading and to the hearing of His holy word. You may be seated. So our sermonic theme is, where is your mat? Where is your mat? Let me make a statement just about the study of the Bible to bring us to this point. To my teachers out there, or my retired teachers, there reached a point in our education where it was not enough to just reach the answer. If we were doing a math problem and a math problem that we had done before, it was not enough for me to just write down the answer. I had to show the entire procedure that it took to get to the answer. If I could not show the process, then I would not pass the test. Because the teacher was trying to determine whether I really knew how to get the answer. Now, the same with reading books. In my day, which hopefully is not too long ago, although my kids are making me feel that it is, amen. They brought these things out called Cliff Notes. And Cliff Notes was set up to give us a summary. That way we wouldn't have to read the whole book. And so what the teachers got hip to was they read the Cliff Notes and they tested us on things that wasn't in the Cliff Notes. Amen. So they had to show, we had to prove that we had read the Shakespearean play or the book or the author. They got hip to it, and so therefore we could no longer use Cliff Notes. So it's designed that we don't just jump from beginning to the end. Yes. But we have to know the meat or the substance in between. Because it's right there in developing the process and understanding the procedure that the skill can guide us to help us with bigger problems and help us deal with bigger opportunities. In the same sense, when we study the Bible, it's dangerous if we just read Genesis, then jump to the Gospels, and then finish off with Revelation. because you miss the substance in between. And then you miss the ability and what it took to get from this point and get to the end. Sure, now you still will get the virgin birth and the miracle of the birth. You still will get all of those things. But the challenge is, will you fully understand and grab the substance of what it means and why it's there? Right? The full meaning of the power of resurrection would be lost in the convenience of our study. That's why the preached word is key, in that we break down and get an understanding of the most minute detail. Because it is within there, we must understand that everything in this Bible is placed there for a reason.
Say that.
Amen. When I started preaching, a preacher told me, you should be able to preach every scripture in here. Okay. The ones that's convenient, the ones that you really know well, and then the ones that you don't know so well, but you still, if you are called and given this gift, then you should be able to preach them.
That's true.
Now, 2 Timothy 2:15, study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So the goal here, church, is not just to understand the beginning or the end, but to gather a strong focus of how you got to the answer. That's why. It will have more meaning for you. And it's important to understand that in the middle, it may not be pretty. It may not be stuff that we want to see or want to read. And in fact, it may show the worst of us. And in several cases, it may show the worst of us before it shows the best of us. Here. Now we always revel in the greatness of and administrative skills of King David, but we have to balance it with the tragedy of the rape of Bathsheba, with the murder of her husband. Right. So it's a part of it. Now it's a part of it. It may not be pretty, but it's still there. Now Abraham, the friend of God, to avoid any harm to him, said his wife was his sister. Right? So no harm would come to him, but he left her to be harmed and alone in the king's court. Right. And so you have to balance that, right? That if you jump to the end and see them blessed by a child later, you'll miss the testimony and all that occurred. Because the Bible exposes our human nature.
Yes, it does.
That's why we relate to it. When we see how messed up they are, we can see how messed up we are. So times where the best is balanced by the worst, but we understand better the present need for salvation.
Amen.
Because we need to be saved from ourselves. It's the tendency of lust for Bathsheba, or the lying for self-preservation, still can rear its ugly head just in our day-to-day living and how we act. Amen. So it's important here that we pay attention to every aspect, that something as small as a mat will carry great importance. Now, this scripture here now, it illustrates here, church, the one that we have read, the best of us, but also the worst of us. Okay. Now, we're going to start at verse 1. Still saved? All right. Now, I'm going to read this. Sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish festivals. Now, there's in Jerusalem, near the sheep gate, a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here, a great number of disabled people used to lie, the blind, the lame, the paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. Now, this here shows the worst of us. because he had been walked over for 38 years. So we have a paralyzed man who could not be healed simply because no one would put him in the water. Right now. Now that means that the persons behind him jumped in front of him. All right. Now that's a challenge here, church, because it exposed our desire for self-preservation. Right. And when it rears its ugly head, we jump over somebody that's paralyzed. Now think about this here now. If I can jump over somebody that's paralyzed, that means I'm not paralyzed. Amen. Right? So I'm taking advantage of somebody who can't move. Because I can move. See, it shows the worst of us. Now, we have to ask ourselves, is this us as saints? Amen. Right? Do we neglect other people that's suffering simply because we pay attention to our own suffering? Is that us, right? Is that us as a church, right? Can a church become so self-preserved and self-focused that we can't see the others that need help? Hallelujah. Come on, talk to me, somebody. So we can see and we can picture life, right? And we can see it at this fountain that there are people that need help, but when we get the opportunity for our own blessings, do we jump over them and help ourselves? Now, it gets worse here, church. It gets worse here because not only did they jump over and get their own blessing, they didn't go back and help him. At all. Ain't that us at times? Well, I got blessed, so I'm going to go ahead and go home. Come on, talk to me, somebody. Come on, look here. I kept my job. I didn't get laid off. So good luck to you who got laid off. Good luck to you, amen. But I got mine. Hopefully one day you'll get yours. It is a dangerous mentality, especially if you're a saint of God. Yes, Lord. Because we're about the sacrificing and helping for the needs of others. So the worst of us is not just that they jumped over and got in and got healed, but the worst is that we didn't go back and help him out. Talk to me, somebody. I'm willing to bet, the Bible don't say this, so don't take this as you go, but I'm willing to bet in 38 years somebody came back for seconds. Okay. Talk to me, somebody. Right, all right. Look here, I remember this pool helped me out about 5 years ago. Let me go back and get my second helping. Amen. Man, that's the same brother that was here the last time. Well, sorry, let me jump over you. Let me go get my blessing, and I'm going to go ahead and head back home. Amen. It exposes then the worst of us. Yes, Lord. Right? In the fact that we couldn't even help this person here. Now, at our best now, and again, we have to be able to see, you have to be able to say it in your, in your life. Are you helping where you should be helping? Yeah. Or have you become so self-centered? We have gone in, when we have gone to serve communion out in these different places where we go into these homes, it's always consistently somebody else that says that they need it. Now, what if I said, man, you ain't a member? Right? Sorry, I only got 7 here, so I got 7 people to see, so that's going to make 6. So one of my members ain't going to get one. Right? Do I not have the ability to drive back to the church? I mean, as pastor, y'all gave me keys to the church. Amen? I done found all the places where the communion is hid. Can I not go back and got a time? Is it not worth it? Yes, it's worth it. Because what does that say? This is a person that may not even be attached to a church, or if they are, they're not being visited, and they've reached out for help, but I say, I'm only here for my members. The Lord gonna judge me on that. Hallelujah! And so then now we have to be very careful here, because we'll have a church that's just set up just for our members, and that's all that will be here, just our members. Right? Now here now. Come on, let's go on now. Verse 6. Still saying, when Jesus saw him lying there, and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" Now, in law, we say this is a yes or no question, right? Do you want to get well? Now, what do he say? "Sir," the invalid replied, "I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me." So right when he got the chance to be blessed, he started complaining. Ain't that us?
Yes, Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
Come on. People who ain't worked in years now got a job, but I don't know about this job. Come on, talk to me, somebody. Somebody who didn't even have a car, now got a car. Well, it ain't the BMW I was looking for. I don't know, but look, do it have gas in it? Do it run? You better take it. Amen. So again, here now, we got a chance now. You got somebody that just asking, do you want to get better? And that's what a saint or anybody have to say, look, I want to get better. Because that's where the healing starts.
Hallelujah.
Come on. It exposes then, a sense of self-worth. Do you want to get better? Have you been in ministry a limited time? We have found people who just don't want to get better. Right? No matter how much you want to pray for them, how much you want to, they just don't stand up and say, I want to get better. Look here, we have, there's several programs that are out here that help people get off, but I only know a couple of them, and so I know a couple of the ones like through the courts, right? We will fight all day and all night to get a person into drug court, which would be an intense program to help them to get off of drugs, to get housing. But several people have dropped simply because they couldn't answer the question on whether they wanted to get better. Right. The ones who have made it through are ones that said, I want to do this. I'm tired of sitting here at this pool with people talking and walking over me and not helping. I want to get better.
All right.
Those are the ones that end up making it, no matter what challenge we give them, as far as housing, no matter where we place them, as far as job, they make it through because they said, I want to get better. It may be because they want to finally be a mother to their kids, or finally be a father, or maybe they want to see their parents stop crying night after night, coming up with bail money after bail money. I'm tired of this. I want to get better. Yes, put me in the program. But now, if you do want to get better here, this is what I need you to do. I need you to get up, pick up your mat, and walk. Now hear me now. Now there's a decision here that's got to be made, and it's on us to make it better. I don't want you to just get up, but I want you to pick up the mat you've been laying on and take it with you. Now this is huge now because my brother here has been here about 38 years. Okay? Now if they can't help him get in the pool, they probably didn't help him get a new mat. Okay? So you have to have a picture, right, of a mat that's dirty, been slept on, that's what he had been on. So the mat had taken on all of the heartbreak, all of the crying, all of the hurt, all of the step over, the dirt, the pain, the mud, the rain. The mat have taken on all of this. Now Christ, again, we're going back to how we started. Christ is specific, the Bible is specific in everything. Christ could have ended with saying, well, my brother, get up and walk. Okay. But Christ added something. I don't want you to just get up. I want you to take what you've been sleeping on and the dirt and the sweat of it, and I want you to pick it up and take it with you. Now, not just that here now, because he had been there 38 years, people knew him. Right? They knew him. Which is another indictment on our humanity. How you gonna keep seeing somebody for 38 years and you don't do nothing to help them? Is this our church? Is this the church of today? Is to sit back and watch people turn a blind eye to so much stuff, and it's going to come back and bite us. And also, too, church, we have to be careful here because we can think that because people got homes and they can afford these expensive homes and they look good on the outside, but it's some messed up stuff going on the inside. Excuse me. So here we go here, church. Now it's huge because he got to pick up the map. So I want them to see you, and I want them to see where you came from. Now, some of us, we get blessed and we want to leave the mat there. Christ is saying, look, I want you to pick up all of that mess. What does it say? First of all, that the paralyzed man have enough strength now to pick up what's been holding him back for all of these years. Ain't that something at church? You got the strength in whatever you've been going through to pick up the mess that's been holding you back for years. And pick it up and put it in your hand and carry it on for everybody to see that I am that person that was there on that mat for 38 years. But I ain't laying on the mat no more. Right now, I'm carrying the mat, and you can see how strong I am. You can see what I've been through, and I'm not holding back no more. I am here. You have the mat on the ground. Christ says when you pick up the mat, picking up what you have been through. Well, the deaths in your life, pick it up. The heartbreak and the hurt, pick it up. The medical situation, the surgeries, the hurt, pick it up. The job losses, the money that you don't have, the time where there wasn't even gas in the car, pick it up. The graveside that you have been to, the hurt that you have seen, the people who you have watched die, pick it up. This is the map that we've been laying on, and it's an indication that right now he don't have to lay on it no more. He can pick it up and say, I am alive, I am here. It's the indication now what he would have to do. The burdens under him, he would have to pick it up. And Christ was well aware of this format of pain and suffering, because just like my brother picked up the mat, Christ would have to pick up the cross. Hallelujah! It wasn't his own doing, church. It wasn't, he didn't pick up his own pain. He picked up our pain. He picked up our sins. He took the whippings for us. And just as he told this brother to get up and walk with the mat, he had to emulate it and finally bring it to fruition when he picked up a cross and that was put on his back. Where is your mat, church? Where is your cross that you have got to carry? Are you going to sit there and sleep on it like it's at the pool and let everybody step on you and talk about you? Or will you stand up and say, I done been through it. I've been hurt. I've dealt with some pain. I have been through it. I've cried a lot of tears. I've been through it. My soul is hurting. I've been through it. But now today I stand up and I'm walking and I've got it underneath my shoulder and I'm not going to let it stop me anymore. I'm walking. And he had one more challenge and they was mad, and the worst of us came out because the elders were like, why are you carrying your mat on the Sabbath day? How ridiculous is that? You don't turn off pain just because it's on Sunday. It comes with you. But I'm showing you that even on the Sabbath, I got enough strength to still carry it. I got enough strength to keep pain. And I got a Jesus who got me up from laying down, who takes my feet on the solid ground. Oh, that's it, church. And you can take anything into June. Find your mat, find where it is. Put it up under your arm and carry it like this brother carried it. And don't keep it for yourself. The public saw him where he was, and he had his mat with him. And he took it with him and he carried on. Oh, that's the challenge.
Yes, Lord.
Do we stay at the pool and let them step over us? Or do we stand up and let them see us?
Hallelujah.
challenge on the other side, do we ignore those at the pool
Okay.
and pretend like we don't see them? Or do we stand up and help to get them where they need to get? Oh, the song, I was sinking deep in sin, far from the peaceful shore, very deeply stained within, seeking to rise no more. But the master of the sea heard my despairing cry. From the waters lifted me, now safe am I, love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me. Oh, and then I'm pressing on the upward way. New heights I'm gaining every day. Still praying as I onward bound. Lord, plant my feet on higher ground. Lord, lift me up and let me stand. By faith on Canaan's tableland, a higher place that I have found. Lord, plant my feet on the higher ground. Grab that mat and you take it up that mountain. God will go with you. Come on, let's praise God for his holy